Stephen Downs. Merry
Hello,
Christmas and happy
is this thing
holidays.
on? Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I can't actually hear you.
Well, it's good to see you. As you can see from my background, I'm traveling once again. Uh, this
Incredible.
time, this time, I'm not the one working. My wife is, but I'm supporting her as a good husband does, and traveling with her.
Love it. I think that's so much fun. I do love it when like my wife has been going through something and I'm able to like be there with her and support her. I think it's a real treat when I get to do that. So I know that feeling.
Yeah. Well, last night she got called in to the hospital in the ICU, and I had to drive. I drove her there because I prefer driving her at night. And, we were there at 11 PM. I don't think we went to bed till maybe midnight or 1, and as I was driving back when she finished with the hospital, I was driving back, uh, got back to the hotel, and I was like, "Man, I am tired." This was after, watching an hour's worth of YouTube in the car, in the ER parking lot waiting for her to be done, and then she looks at me and she's like, "You're tired?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah, you've been the
you,
one working, I get it."
you should just next time just keep your
Just
mouth shut.
learn when to keep your mouth shut. Yeah, exactly.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Um,
Well,
well, we are so this episode is a special holiday edition, special holiday postcard that we're sending you. Um, but
well,
we've talked back and forth, so before we do these postcards, we both share a quick intention, for the episode, what we hope that you will get out of this, our listeners will get out of what we'll get out of it. So I said that I think we should be sharing these, just out loud, and I think it would really help. It would really help. So, Adam, you have the one today. Would you mind sharing?
yeah, I think this is a really good practice just for anything you do in life, holding an intention for it, because then it creates a sense of purpose. And, for those who believe in such things, I do think it changes the energy around you. But even aside from the energy, there's a power in having intent. And for this postcard, my intention is that anyone who is having a hard time this holiday season, anyone who's having the holiday blues, struggling in any way, and there's many people who have a difficult time in the holidays. For those people, I wish that you have some ray of hope, some sense of peace, and to know that you're cared for and appreciated. That's my intention. What about you, Stephen?
Hmm. I think I wasn't prepared for you to ask for my intention, but I that's fair. Fair is fair. Yeah, I hope that you find some discover more about yourself and find some awakening this holiday season through the challenges that we're going to talk. Yeah, I think.
Thank you. Well, I why don't I share just briefly how this idea even popped up? It
It's
came yet
because the holidays suck. Go ahead.
for many they do actually. That's the whole thing. I was actually talking to a friend of mine, a dear friend in Norway. Shout out to Dayton. And
What's up, Dayton?
I realized, the holidays actually are a perfect time to practice. Whatever your uh spirituality is, whatever your practice is, do that. Do that because taking some time to actually be present with the emotions that arise in the holidays is really important. And then started me thinking like, okay, there is such a thing as the holiday blues. Why do people get sad or anxious in the holidays? What's underneath it all? And I that's what I wanted to talk to you about, Stephen. What makes the holidays so challenging for people? And I have my thoughts, but I wanted to throw it to you initially.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I was semi ready for that one. Um, yeah, I mean, I can speak to for myself too because I okay. I think the short answer is because family is really challenging, and I think that some of the best, but also some of the worst things that happen to us in our lives happen around and with family. This is why it's a trope, holiday movie, like, look at a classic one like The Family Stone, like this, like family getting together, big family getting together, so much drama, so many stuff that people just it's like habit, right? It's like think of like a, husband and wife with their habits back and forth, and then you
The
think of
dynamics.
yeah, the dynamics, that, are easy to get trapped into, and then you think of an entire family going through that, and so I think family is some of the best times and also some of the worst times, and
What are you turning into
people, for
Charles
some,
Dickens here?
it was depends, it was the worst time. Uh, it's really rude when you interrupt me, and, okay,
Like
so
me.
anyway.
I'm sorry, were you saying something? Actually, you're the one that does that to me all the time.
Oh, he picked up on it. All right, good. So I think families really those times with family can be really challenging, and it can bring up things that happened in the past that weren't around the holidays. I think that it's really hard to be around family sometimes for a lot of people, and uh, that makes it incredibly challenging because you have this thing that's almost like an obligation, to go be around family. And we do look forward to it, right? Like most people look forward to Christmas. They look forward to the whatever their family's holiday is, but it's still hard.
Yeah, that's great that you pointed out dynamics. All of those, I would say, unresolved tensions, unresolved dynamics, um, that maybe caused the family to separate in the first place, and yet we have this obligation to come back, but none of it was healed, none of it was resolved, so it comes back. And if you think about it, it could be a source of stress, which for many it is, or it could be a source of awakening, a catalyst for awakening. The only way to heal what is unresolved in the unconscious is to first make it conscious. And what better than to allow the dynamics of family to bring all of our stuff up to conscious. So the key then becomes, well, what do you do when it comes to the surface? How do we deal with the regret, the resentments, the tension, the depression, the anxiety when it comes to surface? But before we go there, I also want to make one more comment, which is my experience in the hospital, having worked now, I don't know how many Christmas days or Thanksgiving days or New Year's days. Um, it's just so rough to see patients sick on Christmas Day, and some of them so sick that they die, and to watch the family members, sit on chairs, next to the bed of their loved one, hoping they'll make it through the holidays, only to have them pass away either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. That's happened many times, and I just think, God, now that will color every single Christmas for the rest of their lives, potentially, unless they are able to heal that. And I just want to just speak to those people. I I feel for you. I have compassion for you. It must be so challenging to go through the holidays now, having lost someone. And I just want to let you know that you're seen, you're heard, and hopefully, what we talk about a little bit can begin the process of healing there. Anything else to say, Stephen, about that? About what makes the holidays challenging for people?
No, no, I think we should dive in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, what do you do if, assuming the holidays are occasionally challenging for you?
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
what comes up for you? If you don't have to be specific, you don't want to, but how do you deal with it
Thank you
when it
so
does?
much. Thank you so much. Permission, Adam. Yeah.
You have permission, my permission.
Yeah, holidays for me, I don't have, like, personally, I do have stuff that's happened to me, none of it's been around the holidays, and, like, with my brother passing away, oh, well over what is that, like, 14 years ago now, like, I basically yeah, I don't have, anything around that for the holidays, but I do have I have a larger family, and I definitely won't go into specifics, but there has been a lot of intense trauma that's happened in my family, not with me particular, but with other people. And um, my family has had for a long time now a hard time getting together for the holidays, coordinating who is with who at what time. And I think for me, I think sometimes when I was younger, it's an annoyance. Like it's like, God damn it! Like like, can we just not all be together and put aside things, which we can't clearly. I think as
Mhm.
I've gotten older, I definitely feel really there's a sadness about it. Like I am really sucks that my family members are in so much pain that they don't want to be around each other,
Yeah.
for what could be a time of, family connection. And, yeah, so that I think that makes me s I don't think that makes me sad. And, um, yeah, it makes me really sad
Mhm.
for them, like, to see people suffering. And I think it's like you're saying, with you see people on the holidays who have family members who it's not I mean, my family's not passing away on the holidays. Um, so I
Yeah.
think, I could talk about what I do, because I think what I do is similar to what I would advice that I would give to someone
Mhm.
directly experiencing it, which is I have this adage, this I guess it's an adage, it's a kind of thing I say all the time that really gives me perspective. It helps me snap out of whatever emotional state I'm stuck in. It helps move it. That is, stop fighting that you're fighting it. And that simply means if I am in a place of confusion and difficult emotion, that I stop and I just say, I feel awful, or I feel sad, or I feel angry, whatever it is. I don't, and I, more importantly, I admit that I don't know how to fix it and I don't like it. And, and that's okay. I'm allowed to not know how to fix it. I'm allowed to have the space to feel it and not know how to fix it and just be in a state of not knowing. And it's very similar, now that I say that, it's very similar to why what we've talked about, don't know mine, about not having the answer. And I feel like a lot of times when I feel intense emotions, I want the answer. I want to fix it right now because it's really uncomfortable. So I use this practice that I call stop fighting that you're fighting it. Whereas like I said, I admit that I feel awful. I say, I feel really angry right now. I don't know how to fix it and I don't want to feel angry. And it's okay. And that without fail, without fail, starts to ease the emotion that I'm feeling and gives me space to feel. And it doesn't always mean that I am going to just go back and not continue to feel anger, not to continue to need to process and need space, for example, especially when I'm around family. It doesn't mean that I still don't need space. It doesn't mean that I still don't need to process, but it gives me some sort of access to then transmute and to transform and to release that particular emotion. That's what I do pretty regularly.
Wow. Yeah, I feel the word presence for me captures that. It might not for
Mhm.
other people, but I'm hearing you say that and I think, yeah, just be present. Be present with what is. Just come to this moment, breathe in that emotion, feel it in your body. That works for me actually. I'll share a little bit about my tools. I love for me the body is sort of a neutral thing, right? Uh, I it can be used as a tool to towards separation and seeing yourself as different from other people, or it can be a tool that used in the spirit of spiritual growth. For me, the body is helpful because when I have an intense emotion, I instead of immediately going to an intellectual solution for how do I get rid of this, I use my breath to come into my body and feel where is that emotion? Where how do I want to feel it here. And so feeling it in my body, just being aware of my body and where that emotion is just makes me really present. And it's a surefire way for me not to repress or ignore the emotion, which
Mm.
I've learned. I'm training myself. Do not ever go there. Don't repress anything. Don't ignore anything. Because eventually I'm gonna have to deal with it, and I'd rather deal with it now and heal it rather
Yeah.
than 10 years from now and not know where it came from.
That's way easier to deal with it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I use the breath and I become aware of the emotion in the body. And the other thing is, it's very natural to have a resistance to an uncomfortable emotion because it's uncomfortable. Because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be angry. It doesn't feel good to be sad, or to be anxious. Now, one comment about anger, it might feel initially good to be angry because there's a sense of energy. There's a sense of like, you feel alive, right? But it is a type of poison where in the long run, uh, you I notice that for the moments where I have intense anger towards someone else or some situation, inevitably it will be followed by some form of depression because
Mm.
there's a part of
Mm.
my mind that knows the person I'm angry at is also me. We're all connected. We're all one. There's
Yeah.
the ideas of separation are just that. They're ideas and illusions, but there's a part of the mind deep down inside that remembers that oneness. And so eventually, when I call, when I'm angry at someone, I recognize that that's coming back towards me. A famous Buddhist saying, I think, is like being angry at someone is like drinking poison and waiting for them to die, which
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
true. And it's very conscious now. So um, I think presence, using the body as a tool to become aware, and then one final thing for me is the power of non-judgment. Being aware of how I'm feeling and telling myself it's absolutely okay.
Mm. Mhm.
Whatever I'm feeling is okay. And it's sort of like what you did. If I remove the resistance from the emotion or from the moment and I'm in my witness state, the observer, I'm just this pure awareness, not retreating or disassociating, but aware, fully engaged, but not judging. Not judging. Then there's a softness that arises with the present moment, and it's easier for me to start thinking thoughts that are more kind and compassionate towards myself and others.
Yeah, yeah. I think, one of the similarity between there's a lot of similarities between what we've shared, and if you listen to this, we wanna hear what are your practices? How do you go about doing this? And even if it doesn't work every time, even if it doesn't yeah, I find myself stuck in emotions way more often than I'd like to. But, yeah, if you listen to this, we wanna hear, what do you do? What practices, contemplations work for you? Not just around the holidays, although that's a, particular time when it tends to be more intense for everybody, but, yeah, let us know wherever you're listening to this. Please get in touch, and we do wanna hear, what works for you, and I think, you know, one of the similarities between the things that you and I are sharing, Adam, is you need to give it space. You need to, which is a way of saying be present with it. You need to create space, and if
Create
you're,
space.
it's like when we're with our families around the holidays, it can feel like you're like a bunch of rats in a cage that are attacking each other, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's okay to get space. It's okay um, to say like, "Hey, I just need to go for a walk by myself. I need to give myself space to process." You really, no one has uh, given you permission. You have no moral obligation to be in situations that you don't want to be in.
that's a
If it
great
makes your
point.
life a living hell.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, so create some space, go for a walk, find a way to get out of the house, find a way to get away from other people, and giving yourself that space will help you find your center again. And it's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay to be in the moment practicing. I mean, it's you and I have talked about so many times over the course of this little, these podcasts, these episodes, that communicating is so important too. Like if you're in an argument with your spouse, one a great way to kind of create some space is to say like, "Hey, I need 45 minutes to myself. I will come back at the end of 45 minutes and I'll let you know if I need more space or if I'm ready to talk about."
mm,
You can do that with anybody. You can say like, "Hey, I feel really intense right now. I don't want to make this worse. I know that I need to take some time for myself. Really, like, please just and I'll be back in touch. I still love you. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I need some space." So feel free to steal that.
yeah. Yeah, you highlighted something, and it's probably gonna be my last point regarding the holidays, which is this interesting, juxtaposition between expectation and reality. I think for a lot of people, the expectation and maybe not everyone, but for a lot of people, certainly the way the
Every single person.
yes, every single person. The expectation is that the holidays should be a joyful, happy time where everyone gets along with each other, all your friends and families come together, and you enjoy great meals, great discussions. It's fun. It's fun all the time, and everyone's happy. The reality is, I would say, for the majority of people, the holidays are a time of struggle and challenge and bringing up to surface what was hidden previously. And if they can see it in a certain way, a time of potential healing if they approach it that way. And that I'm saying that because if there's any part of you that wishes, and I'm speaking for myself too, if there's any part of you that wishes your holiday season was other than what it is, you can allow that to dissolve, to let go of that. It is exactly what it is. It's exactly how it needs to be, and nothing else, needs to change, and that sort of non-resistance to what is, I think, is the very beginning of healing. You just let
Mhm.
what is be and give it space. Today this holiday season is exactly how it needs to be, and if we accept that and honor that, we can begin our healing that way.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my final words, for this episode, I think are probably gonna echo yours that, um, if you're listening to if you're listening to these podcasts, if you're someone who listens to us regularly, or maybe you're discovering it for the first time, it's likely that you have discovered the power of the inner world and the power of doing the inner work. And the more challenging the situation, the stronger the work. And, you know, learning how to work with our emotions, learning how to work with our humanness is a lifelong process. And you you only become better at it and find more peace by doing it. And so you can also look at these situations as an opportunity to say, like, hey, honestly, this holiday season might suck, but I'm gonna go into it, and I know that I'm gonna work with it and do my best to be present when I can. And, not that Winston Churchill is the be all end all of wisdom and good decisions in life, but this famous quote, "If you're going through hell, keep going." I think it's here for the holidays. So, not to end on a downer, but to everybody listening, we wish you sincerely a happy, peaceful holiday, and hope that there are many blessings for you and your family this holiday.
Yes, yes. Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas, and enjoy the growth and the learning and the healing.
All right, that's a great. All right, bye, Adam.
Bye.